All right. We're live.
How you doing tonight, man?
I am doing pretty good. Pretty good. How about you?
I'm doing great, doing great. I see that we have Carnivore 24 in the chat, and we have
Yeah.
Rick in the chat. Carnivore 24, I did a live stream with him last night. He's Blake, he's awesome. I'm having a barbecue meetup coming up in a couple weeks, and he's actually coming to it.
I really wanted to go to that, but it's
Hop
too
on a
far away.
plane, man.
We need to do like a carnivore community meetup in like somewhere that's like centrally located. Because like
Yeah,
everybody
I'll be good with
lives in
that.
the Midwest or like the South for the most part. So like we need to do one like, I don't know, in like Tennessee or like something like that. That'd be fun.
Yeah, and Blake would like that because he's I think he lives in Tennessee, so he'd be cool with that.
Yeah, and
Yeah, they have the big events like now it's called Healthier Hack or Hack Your Health in Texas and different things like that. But I mean that's just that don't work for people that live way farther up north and stuff.
Yeah. Because I mean, a lot of people live either in the Southeast or the Midwest areas. I know, like Sean lives in South Carolina? I believe South
Yeah,
Carolina.
he lives in South Carolina, and
Yeah.
that's where Larry and Cassie and all them live at too. We had
Yeah.
we had a meetup up there last year in September, and it was awesome at like a state park up there. We had a great time.
Nice. All right, people are coming in. All
Y'all
right.
hit the like button. Y'all get in here, help us out.
Yeah, definitely. So Carnivore 24, I've been seeing your videos. I've been checking them out, and you're doing really good. Good
He's
content.
gonna keep growing because he's doing really
Yeah.
good. I can tell he can edit too.
Yeah. I was gonna say good content and also like good job on the journey so far. You're doing well. So okay. We got Jordan. Shout out for dropping that weight. Got me inspired. 200 pounds, 5'7". I want to get down to 150, 160. Awesome. You can do it. That's carnivore is the way to do it for sure. You can definitely do it.
And
So
I was just telling you before we hit live that part of the reason that I thought that you did so well last year dropping all that weight is because you were super strict. Like
Yep.
you stuck with the plan. And see me, I was an idiot. I went off plan multiple times, and like I let the holidays get the best of me, and just those old cravings and all that stuff, and it really slowed things down. You're a prime example. Whenever you can stick to the plan, like, I mean, it works. That's like Sean, the intentional carnivore.
Yeah.
He lost like almost like 300 pounds, I believe, but he was very consistent and stuck with his plan. And hey, the proof's in the pudding.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely is. It's consistency is key, and staying on plan. Not having cheats. Like I would for Thanksgiving, my cheat was green bean casserole, which was made with bacon and green beans and cream cheese.
And you felt like you were doing something, didn't you?
Yeah, I thought this is cheating, but it's like it's so you just gotta not let your world revolve around food. That's the biggest thing is change your mindset around food. That's the hardest thing because food addiction is real. It's tough. So especially when you're eating, so when you're a sugar addict or a carb addict, like we all are, and we got to be so big because of that. So it's just it's a lot of mind games. It's all mind over matter. So
I noticed that I had issues with like whenever I would forget to meal prep, like on Sunday before I'd go back to work on Monday or something. When I forget to meal prep, like I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna get some bunless hamburgers or something. But then like every now and then I'd be like, I really don't want a bunless hamburger from like McDonald's today. And then I would start playing mind games with myself. Oh, so just go eat this junk food instead. And I'm like, I know that it's like you gotta fight through those urges and win those battles, but
Mhm.
man, I let it get me down at multiple times last year for sure.
Yeah, for sure. You just gotta stay consistent. That's the thing. And like with meal prepping, when I started, I was doing 3 meals a day, but after a month, I started doing 2 meals a day, and I would always just eat like 6 eggs for lunch for the most part. So I would just make some eggs real quick at night, put them in the fridge, and I have this you probably have a microwave, but I'm working on the road, so I have like a
Mhm.
plug-in like hot plate. You plug your cigarette lighter in your truck or whatever, and it heats up those eggs. Sometimes I would
I
do
remember
like
watching a video where you were doing
yeah,
that, I think.
yeah, and then I would grill up like some chicken legs for the week for lunches, and meal prep is a big part of it too. You got to really be intentional about making sure you stay on plan when you're at work and for lunch and everything. So
Yeah, and I
yeah,
have no excuse when it comes to that because I got multiple smokers and I love to smoke meat and everything, so I can it's nothing to cook up some brisket and have brisket all week,
yeah.
but just gotta when you let things get in the way, that's whenever I notice. And also just man, sometimes because I live in a small town and there's not a lot of like chain restaurants, but I
Mm-hmm.
catch myself when go to like what I consider the big city, which most people would laugh at and be like, dude, that ain't a big city. But to me, I'm like, whenever
What's
I
your big
see
city?
someone, to me, when a big city's, like if it's got more than 20,000 people, that's huge to me. And like, but
Uh,
but if I go to a place that like if they have like chain restaurants and like Longhorns and all that other different stuff, like that's a big town in my eyes. And
mm-hmm.
so
Yep.
whenever I would go somewhere and I would see all those signs and stuff, it would start I would remember like, man, remember when I used to go and eat there? Remember that meal that I got there? And I would look at the signs and stuff, and that stuff would just throw a kink in things. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's a lot of stuff that I even still to this day still have to work through some of that stuff because it's tough sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. I understand that completely. How
Mhm.
many people? What's the population of your town? Just curious.
Well,
Where you live.
I don't think the population's accurate, but hold on, let me look real quick just to make sure that I can get it right. But it doesn't feel like there's as many people in this town. Uh, population 8,000 people.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
and that's like and when I say that, that's the town of Atmore, because I don't care if
Mhm.
people know where I live. That town is called Atmore, and the population is 8,500, but I actually live in a smaller town outside of Atmore that's like 10 or 15 minutes from Atmore, and
Mhm.
in the town that I live in, there ain't but one red light in the whole town. And like we don't even have we just got Walmart and Atmore like a couple years ago, and
Okay.
we just got like the Dollar General and like
Mhm.
McDonald's and Taco Bell and stuff.
Yeah,
So I guess we're moving up in the world.
we live we live in Nebraska, so, like, here it's all, like, nothing but, like, soybean farms and cornfields,
Mhm.
and, our town has 1,200 people. That's our
Wow.
population.
Is
Yeah.
that and yeah, that's crazy. That's even smaller than
Yeah.
like Atmore. But like I said, the zip code would be Atmore, but really I don't live in Atmore. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Where I live
Yep.
at's a lot
Mhm.
smaller.
So, I see a question here. I was gonna click that up here for us. What's your opinion on intermittent fasting? Also, did you see the new article posted for the American Heart Association? I did not see any articles from them, but my opinion on intermittent fasting is it's definitely beneficial, for sure. Um, I currently am doing OMAD. I've been doing OMAD now for about 2 months, just trying to get to my goals. And for most of my journey, I was 2 meals a day. And I know there's a lot of good benefits that come with intermittent fasting, like your body uses that extra body fat for the fuel, to give you the energy. And also it's great for autophagy and things like that, and cell reproduction, like cell regeneration. I think that's what it's called. But there's a lot of great benefits to intermittent fasting. And also, you keep your blood sugar levels stable. You don't have spiking insulin all the time. So the longer you can fast, the better off you'll be in the end, for your insulin sensitivity, your overall metabolic health, and everything else. What about you, Kip?
Brother, you nailed that like a doctor. You sound like Dr. Berry when you said that.
I've been doing a lot of for the last few months. I've been doing a ton of like research about
Mhm.
metabolic health and insulin sensitivity and like cholesterol and lean mass hyperresponders because it's becoming a real thing. I'm living it. You know what I mean? So I've
Yeah.
been doing a lot of research and listened to a lot of videos from Dr. Barry and Dr. Ovadia, Bickman, Chafee, all of them. So
Yeah, and
um,
what I've noticed too with when it comes to the intermittent fasting or whatever, a lot of times whenever people ask me about carnivore, like I didn't in the beginning, I didn't tell them, "Hey, yeah, you gotta go do it. You gotta go do it." A lot of people start doing it naturally. A lot of
yep.
people will just start cutting back from 3 meals
Mhm.
to 2 meals, and then some people just start cutting back to 1 meal on their own just because they're eating such great nutritious food that, like, they're not feeling like they need to eat as many times in the day. And I haven't experimented a lot with, like, the longer extended fasts, but at some point, I'm thinking I might wanna try it because I do from the research that I've done, there's definitely benefits, to doing it.
Yeah, I haven't done a long extended fast yet either, and I know there's benefits of it. Maybe one day I'll try it, but for now I'm just sticking to OMAD because I feel pretty good on OMAD.
Alright,
So
so you're doing like a 2-week challenge, no food? No, I'm just kidding.
I think this was I think they commented after that about what the I guess the American Heart Association said 8-hour time restricted eating linked to a 91% risk. I don't agree with that
I don't know
because
about that.
at the end of the day, I haven't heard that, but I need to look at the article. But at the end of the day, um, I look at cardiovascular disease is more of a metabolic disease at the end of the day. You, people who are more insulin resistant have high risk cardiovascular disease. Also, if you're obese or overweight or all that other stuff, insulin resistance is a big factor in that. And if you're intermittent fasting and you're prolonging your fasting period and shortening your eating window, your insulin levels and your blood sugar is going to be stable and not so up and down. So I feel like intermittent fasting is actually decreasing your risk of cardiovascular disease in the end. So that's just my opinion. I'm not a
Yeah.
doctor. I'm just a dude who's been eating meat for a year. So I don't
Yeah,
know.
and the way I think, a simple way for me to just think about it in my simple little mind is like, if you think about our ancestors and stuff like that, a lot of them, they didn't, because a lot of doctors are like, "Oh, you don't need to just eat 3 meals a day, you need to eat 5 or 6 times a day." And, you know
Yeah.
what I'm talking about? And they'll say, like, to regulate your blood sugar and all this other different stuff, and they're creating all those different spikes. But, I mean, if
Hmm.
you think about our ancestors, they probably didn't do all that stuff, like, they were lucky if they even got a meal that day. Like, a lot
Yep.
of them would work all through the day and hunt and different stuff like that, and if they were lucky, they got home and they had food that night, and if they weren't
Hmm.
lucky, then they had to try again the next day. So, there was a whole lot of fasting going on back then, I'm sure, and not all of it was fasting that they wanted to do, but they didn't have a choice. But
Yep.
nowadays, people feel like unless you just eat tons and tons of meals or whatever, all throughout the day that you're gonna have all these problems. I'm like,
Yeah.
that don't make sense."
And especially if you're eating, a ton of carbs and fruit and sugar and everything else. I mean, if you're eating several times throughout the day, that's how many spikes in your blood sugar and your insulin are you getting throughout the day? You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
like, I feel like that's just causing people to become more insulin resistant. I
And
mean,
they'll
look at
tell you to eat 6 times a day.
yeah, it's crazy, and like look at the epidemic we have in our country. Like, what 80? I think it was 82% or something of adults in the U.S. are overweight, and
Yeah.
then 47%, 45%, something like that, are obese, which is crazy. So like what they've been telling us has not been working. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I had a
So
doctor one time, I remember now that you was bringing that up, I had a doctor one time that was telling me that we're like cows, we're supposed to be grazers, and I'm just like, "So I'm just supposed to be walking around eating all day?" And I'm just like like that it don't make sense. If I was supposed to be like a cow, I mean, I'd be out in the pasture. You know what I mean? But
Eating
but
grass, like
that's the way they are.
uh, oh man, let's
But what was you
see.
about to say?
I was just gonna highlight this here. For Oaktown girl, 4 months carnivore and health is so much better. Awesome. You start to see a lot of great benefits after that 90 days, but I mean, 4 months, that's amazing. You're definitely getting some much better health, much better metabolic health after 4 months for sure. Um, oh, here's a good one. Jordan Taylor, over the road car hauler. Definitely can relate to being on the road. So much junk food at truck stops. Yes, you gotta like, and you gotta stop and gas up. Great time to get some water, and
Or some
some
sparkling water.
yeah, that'll work. Um, and try to find like clean beef jerky. That's a good snack for on the road. But just I would say go to the grocery store and get food real food. Just avoid going to gas stations if you can.
Yeah, in a pinch, I'll get like the hot dogs or whatever, but I still feel like that's not as good for you as even though it is meat and everything because of the process and everything,
Mhm.
it still is not gonna be as good for you as eating like hamburgers or like a steak or something.
Yep. Agreed. 100%. 100%. And you can meal prep. If you don't have a way to cook food on your truck, you can meal prep things. Get I guess talking about the Hot Logic plug-in hot plate for your truck, plug your cigarette lighter, or you can do like boiled eggs, bacon. You can pre-cook bacon. You can do um, clean meat sticks like Chomps or Paleo Valley or Archer. There's lots of things. Pork rinds, you can do those. A lot of things you can do to
I've been
meal prep.
liking the Chomps meat sticks recently. I've been,
Yeah.
trying them and they're pretty good.
Oh yeah, they're awesome.
But
I
I
eat.
ate like 3 of the big ones one time. It wasn't the regular ones, it was the habanero ones. I
Oh,
ate
okay.
I used to eat a lot of hot food, okay? But I
Mhm.
ate 3 of them, and let me tell you what, boy.
Were you paying for it the next day?
But it wasn't even the next day, it was about 30 minutes later.
Oh
It sent me
man.
to the toilet. It was them habanero ones, they got me.
Oh, see. I love hot stuff. Like I'm always been like a spicy guy,
Me
and
too.
so I'll still eat pepper jack cheese sometimes. I know it's not carnivore, but whatever. It's
Yeah.
it is what it is.
It's such a small amount of a veggie, but you
Yep.
be careful who you tell that, though. Some people get mad if they find out you had a little bit of pepper.
I know, right? Yeah. Oh, I've gotten comments about like, because I put black pepper on like my eggs. They say, "Oh, black pepper has oxalates." Da, 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 da." I'm like, who cares? It doesn't
Yeah,
bother me.
yeah. That
Um, here's a good one. Ma Ross, been doing carnivore for almost 1 year. My husband lost 30 and has been stalled at 300 pounds for the last 6 months. He does drink diet soda. Other than that, eggs, beef, and butter. Um, Well, good job on the 30 pounds. That's better than nothing. That's really good. I would say if you're stalling out at 300 pounds, um, stop the diet soda. Like you got to stop those
yeah,
artificial
you gotta
sweeteners.
find something.
You got to drink
Is he
black coffee.
7 foot tall? Because I wish I knew how tall he was.
Yeah, right. Um, how much are you eating? Because if you're eating, like I know it's hard to overeat on eggs, beef, and butter. But if you're eating too many calories and not moving enough, you're gonna stall out. Like at the end of the day, calories are still a thing. Now I'm getting leaner and leaner. I'm counting my calories, and the only way I'm able to continue to lose body fat is to be restricting my calories and doing OMAD. So when you're 300 pounds, you may not, but if you're eating like 4 pounds of beef a day, that's probably too much.
Oh, yeah,
I don't
unless you're
know.
staying in the gym.
Yeah, unless you're like super active. Like you're working, 2 days plus 20,000 steps, you know what I mean? Or whatever. But I would just cut out cut out the dairy too. If you're eating cheese or milk or cream, I would try to eliminate that too, because that would cause you to stall out as well. So
That's the biggest culprit for me is the dairy, like the cheese and all that stuff. That stuff will it will make me not lose an ounce. If I'm eating cheese, I can't lose an ounce.
so how
So
much? So here's the question: when you're eating cheese, because I know you stalled out because you got back in eating cheese not too long ago.
mhm.
When you're eating cheese, how much were you eating? Was it like a lot or just like
Yeah,
a
it was
slice?
more than I can't eat a little bit of cheese, man.
Okay,
When
that
I
you
eat
can't
cheese,
moderate cheese.
when I eat a little bit of cheese, I'm like a rat. I just go to town on
You
it.
you can sit there and eat like a half a block, you know?
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
well,
man.
not quite, but I mean, I just when I eat cheese, I mean, I enjoy it. But the thing is, I start gaining weight whenever I start eating it, and a lot of it could be the amount, but like
Mhm,
I don't know the point in having just a little bit of cheese because just a little bit of cheese that flavor is gonna tempt me to want
mhm,
even more. So it's almost better for me to just not have it altogether.
yep.
Kinda
Yeah,
like I
and
mean, even though it's not at bad like a cigarette, but if I was trying
mhm,
to not smoke cigarettes, I ain't gonna just smoke one. Because if I'm gonna smoke one,
exactly.
then I'm gonna fire up a bunch of them.
Yeah, and, some people can moderate cheese, like, I can moderate cheese, but some people can't. In the beginning, I would overeat cheese as well. I would eat, like, way too much cheese. But now, now that I'm far in and I'm kind of got a good grip on things on my food addiction, I usually eat a slice of cheese a day just because I'm craving a little bit of cheese but that's it. Like I don't need more than that. You know what I mean? So some people can moderate, some people can't. I couldn't moderate in the beginning, but a year later I can. So um
Yeah.
yeah, that's just how cheese is addictive because it just I don't know,
It's
it's
good,
good.
man.
You gotta be careful. You gotta be very careful. You can't overdo it.
Yeah,
So,
and honestly, like, I tell people, like, I'm not saying I'm never gonna have cheese again, and I'm not saying that, once I hit my goal weights or my goal weight that I won't incorporate it a little bit more and make now, if of course, if I start gaining 20 pounds, then I'll quit, but, uh I hope that eventually I can get to a place where I can be around my goal weight and I can have a little bit of cheese and not have issues because I love
mhm,
cheese, but we'll just have to find out. Like if I was where you are right now and
yeah,
having cheese and it didn't bother me, then I would just rock on with it.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And like, I'm close to my goal, so I can moderate, and I'm still not sitting here eating a bunch of carbs or anything. Like I'm still carnivore. You know what I mean? But one slice of cheese a day, it doesn't bother me. It doesn't
Yeah,
make
I,
me
and
want
I
to have more or make me want to go and like have carbs or sugar. So
I'm glad you mentioned dairy though, because I was watching where a post from Larry and Cassie from Carnivore Quest, and Cassie
mhm,
had talked about how she had been in a stall for a long time.
yep,
Forget exactly how long the stall was, and she couldn't figure it out. But it was right in front of her because it was the dairy. She couldn't quit. She was having the heavy cream with her coffee and like cheese and different things like that. But she's been for the past 35 days or whatever, I think she has cut out all dairy completely. And all of a sudden now the weight's just falling off. So
yeah. I think recently, I think this past week, she came out with a video that she actually stopped coffee too.
I
She's
know
been like
that's
going
amazing. She's
crazy.
getting serious.
Yeah, she's seriously like I mean I can't do that. I still drink my black coffee, every single day. So that's just I can't give it up. I feel like I've given so many things up. Yeah, I gotta have that coffee.
So, do you think that you'll never be able to give it up, or do you just think no time soon you might not give it up?
No time soon. I mean,
You
maybe
could
one
see it
day.
happening eventually, maybe,
Yeah, but the thing is like it doesn't
cause of severe
for me, I don't
issues.
see a reason to stop drinking coffee because um it's caffeine. I mean, yeah, it helps me wake up, helps me keep me going,
How many
but,
cups a day are you drinking?
way too many.
Okay, then.
Probably like 6, honestly. But at the end of the day, like, it hasn't I mean, I can see one day maybe giving it up for, like, a month just to challenge myself to see if I can do it and see how I feel, because I do get those crashes, and I don't know. It's just I've thought about it, but like one day we'll see about getting off
That's what
caffeine
my buddy, the carnivore
temporarily.
trucker that's what my buddy, the carnivore trucker would say was whenever he would try to quit coffee, because he drives a 18-wheeler for a living, he would feel like worried for his safety, like he would wanna fall asleep and stuff, and that's the reason he just kept drinking it. But I don't know, I just the way that I am, I hate knowing that I'm dependent on something. So,
Hmm.
like, it's like,
Hmm.
for me, like, if I had quit everything else, but I had to hang on to that, I would feel like I have to at some point challenge myself for at least a few weeks just to see if I have the strength to fight that urge. And you never know, you might challenge yourself for 2 weeks or a month or something, and you might just be like, "Nah, it wasn't even worth it. I'm going back to coffee." But then again, you might challenge yourself and be like, "Oh my gosh, it's the best thing I've ever done."
Yeah, and you're right.
You'll
And
never know.
I think I will eventually. Like when I think I will eventually for sure. I think for me, a little bit being in a little bit of a calorie deficit still, that still don't have. I'm using that coffee to help with the energy. So, but I
Yeah.
also have a relatively active job, so I'm moving quite often. So I don't know. It's just I think I will eventually challenge myself for about I probably have 30 days to get off coffee, but um not anytime in the near future, but maybe, like, down the road. Sometime this year probably, but we'll see. We'll see. It's
Well,
in my
look, hey, look, if it makes you feel any better, whenever you do it, message me and let me know that you're gonna do it, and I'll find something super hard for me that I don't wanna give up, and I'll rough it with you for that month or whatever. I'll do that
Okay.
with it. Won't be
Alright.
coffee though, because coffee's not a problem for me. I'll just
Yeah.
find something
Yeah.
that I absolutely don't wanna give up, and I'll give up that for a month.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Alright, you got it. Alright. We got a question here from Taiba Shalmani. I don't know if I said that right. Sorry if I butchered your name. Hi, all. Question for both of you and everyone here. How do you deal with going repeatedly off plan, not becoming a vicious cycle? For me, I've only had one cheat meal last year, so I don't have a ton of experience with this. I know Kip, you can definitely say more of this than I can. So,
Well, I mean, I'm not perfect when it comes to this, so I'm not sure I'm giving the best answers, but I'll say the difference in me from last year, because last year, man, when I would go off plan for, like, a day, it would be like, after the first or second time, it was way more than a day. It would be, like, the full weekend, or then it would be a whole week, and then eventually it would be, like, a whole month or 2 months, and I would be way, way, way off plan and gain tons of weight. So this year, I've been trying to make sure that it's less and less. And like, I've been off plan multiple times where it was just like one meal. And I just had that one meal. And honestly, I really didn't even need to do that. I'm not saying, hey, you need to go off plan, but I was very proud of myself that it was a meal instead of a whole week. You know what I
mhm,
mean? Because I was
mhm,
able to just bounce right back from that. And then there's been once where it was like a day and a half or something, but I haven't. I'm very thankful that I haven't this year been like, hey, I'm gonna take a whole week and be off plan.
yeah,
Because last year there was multiple times where I was like
yeah,
in the dumps. And another thing too is last year I did a lot of beating myself up. Like when I would
mhm,
get off plan, I would beat myself up and be like, "Man, you're the worst person. I can't believe you're
mm,
doing this. You're ruining everything." This year, I've been trying to give myself a little bit more grace and being like, "No, look, you're human. You're trying to work through like you've had your whole lifetime of getting in the shape that you're in and getting super overweight and super unhealthy, and it's taken you some time to fix a lot of those issues. So you got to give yourself a little grace along the way."
yeah, yeah. And food addiction is real, and it's a journey for everyone. It's not a race. It's a marathon trying to take your health back, and some people can do it quickly. Some people take they have hills and valleys. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
it's
It's
it's a
about
journey.
not giving up.
Yeah, exactly. At the end of the day, he's like you can't give up. Like you just if you fail and you do have a cheat day, week, month, year, at the end of the day, like get back on the wagon at some point and just take your health back and get on that journey again. And
I wouldn't recommend a cheat month though, because
I'm just
I
I'm
had a
just
cheat.
saying, yeah, I'm just
I
you know
know
what I'm
what
saying.
you mean. I'm just saying, I'm just letting them know that if any of them watching don't know me, I went off plan for 2 months last year, and when I went off plan for 2 months, I gained 61 pounds. And so
Yeah.
don't do it. I
Yeah,
promise
don't do
you it ain't worth
that.
it.
But but, food addiction's real, and, like, when you all of us who have been or all of us who are morbidly obese, we got there because we ate our emotions. Our life revolved around food. That's how we cope with everything.
Yep.
And it takes time to get over those things and to get past those things. It's a mental game. It's a psychological thing, and like it's not something that you can fix overnight. It's something it's a journey, and it's probably something that we'll deal with our whole lives. Some people turn to alcohol, some people turn to drugs, some people turn to whatever. But you know, I turn to sugar and carbs, and I know Kip get the same way. And so like it's not easy to give that up and to figure out how to channel and deal with your emotions that doesn't revolve around food. You got to find
Yeah.
healthy ways to deal with those things. You know what I mean? It could be, I don't know, you name it. I like going fishing. I like working out. Those are two things that I try to relieve stress and channel my emotions into. And there's things that you can do that don't revolve around food that you can help get past your addictions with. So that's just my 2 cents. But
Yeah, I mean, that's good, man.
yeah. Um, let's see.
Did you ever
Uh,
notice last year, like, or, did you ever notice, like, when you would, I just lost my train of thought. I was trying to plug in my keyboard because it's coming undone, and when I did, I lost my train of thought. You'll just have to go to the question. In a minute, I'll be like, "Oh, that's exactly what it was," and then I'll
okay.
go with it.
Okay. I don't know if this person's trolling or not, but obviously onions are not carnivore. It's a plant. So I'm just gonna mention that. um
Nope, they're not carnivore.
so here's okay, this goes back to that the question or comment from earlier about the American Heart Association. I think that's what he's talking about, Daryl. Studies have not been released officially. It was actually done in China and dealt with questionnaire supposedly. Of course. All these red meat causes diabetes, those questionnaires, that's all stupidity. Like no one's gonna remember what they ate, for the last year, how many times they had meat for the last year. If you consider pepperonis on a pizza, red meat, that doesn't count. How much carbs and sugar are they eating? It doesn't work. So
Yeah, like, they consider a hamburger with all kinda other stuff on it. They consider that, "Oh, they're eating red meat." I'm like, "Yeah, what
yeah,
about all this stuff on that
all
burger?"
every fast food place you go to, there's sugar in the buns. There's sugar all throughout it. There's full of carbs, and it's seed oils. It's just no, it's terrible, terrible food. Yeah. So I mean, if red meat causes diabetes, then I would be diabetic, and I'm the complete opposite according to my blood work. So I'm very insulin sensitive. So that's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
And
you're
I think a
right.
lot of carnivores can say the same thing. So
Absolutely.
okay.
Trying to find a question.
Yeah. Let's see. Extended fasts are great for resetting the gut and metabolism. I've not tried an extended fast yet, and I don't think you have either, Kip. But yeah, I've heard there's a lot of great benefits of that. Um, I'm thinking eventually I'll probably do like a 48 or 72-hour fast at some point, but I'm not there. I'm not ready for that yet. I'm still trying to. I'm staying in my comfort zone where at OMAD, where I know I can be successful and continue to burn body fat. So
Do you ever have to work? I don't know if work's the right word, but, like, is it ever a struggle to stay OMAD, or is it always easy to wait? Do you do your one meal early or late in the evening?
um, I just do my one meal when I go from work. So between 5 and 6:30 is when I eat, generally speaking. And I do
Do
a
you
23
ever
hour fast, so I eat my we eating windows of 1 hour usually. So it's
yeah.
just dinner. I usually just have like 4 or 5 eggs and like a 18 or 20 ounce steak or a pound of ground beef. And then I'll have
Do you ever notice that, like, a couple hours before that or 4 hours before that, you're starting to get really hungry, or do you just not get that hungry until then?
well, so lately I've been doing OMAD during the work week, and then weekends I've been doing 2 meals. But I usually
Gotcha.
eat my lunch on Saturday and Sunday like at 1:30, 2 o'clock, so it's a little bit later. Um, but when I'm working, because I work, I do HVAC, so I'm constantly moving up, doing things, and I drink coffee and water throughout the day. So I'm not, if I get hungry, I drink water or coffee, and that usually makes the hunger go away for a little bit. But generally speaking, if I'm staying busy and I'm actively doing stuff, I'm not really thinking about food. I'm just kind of going and going and going, and then I start to get hungry on the drive home, and I'm like, okay. I usually if I'm driving home and I get really hungry, I usually pack a couple chomps, so I eat chomps on the way home, and then I'll cook dinner when I get home. So that's kind
Mhm.
of what I've been doing for the last couple months, and then, like I said, on weekends I do just 2 meals a day, and I usually eat around 2 o'clock or so, give or take. So
Yeah, and I think that active job helps you out a lot too. Cause me,
mhm.
I sit behind a computer all day, and then whenever I do live streams, I'm behind a computer too, and so
Yeah, and
yeah, I
that's
sit
the thing
behind a
too
computer all
is
day.
is everyone does everyone has a different activity level in their day to day just normal life. So like for me, I'm somewhat active, and I come home and like I try to lift weights now for an hour or so, about 4 times a week. So like that helps too. But um, and sometimes I'll come home and work out fasted, which is kind of nice actually. Working out with fasted is for whatever reason. Sometimes I feel like I can have more energy when I'm working out fasted, and I feel like I have a better. I don't know. I can lift more. I can push more. Get more reps and stuff. So I don't know. It's kind of weird.
Well, I mean,
uh,
if you think about it, like, what do you think your ancestors did?
yeah,
Like,
exactly.
they had to go work for their food and stuff, and a lot of times they were fasted when they were,
Hmm.
chasing deer and chasing different animals and all
Yep.
that stuff, and
Buffalo.
they had to have all that energy to go, uh, take care of that task or whatever, and so, I mean, I think a lot of it is our body is kinda designed that way.
Yeah, for sure. Um, are you still doing 3 meals a day? Or are you down to 2 meals now? Because I know
Yeah,
you did
I'm doing 2
BBB for a
meals.
bit, and then now you're on 2 meals.
Yeah, I'm doing 2 meals, but sometimes I only do 1 meal, or I'll do, like, 1 meal and then, like, some chomps or something like
Yeah.
that,
Mhm.
but usually, I would say more often than not, it's 2 meals. Maybe 2 of the days during the week, it's 1 meal,
Okay.
but I'm trying to get better with, like, making sure that I'm not doing the cheese and stuff because, man, the cheese, that stuff, it messes with me whenever I have it, but,
Yeah.
right, mainly
Mhm.
2 meals.
Are you still BBE? Are you are you mixing it up a little bit or what?
Right now, I'm mixing it up a little bit. I feel like
Mhm.
when I was doing BBB&E, I felt great doing BBB&E, but honestly, when I do it, I don't really crave the eggs like everybody, and I don't crave the bacon. I mainly crave,
Mm.
like, beef and seafood.
Okay.
So, that's the main things I want. Like, I want beef all the time, and then when I want something different, I want shrimp.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
so that's the main things, and so and of course, butter. I mean, I'll do some butter with
Mhm.
my steaks and stuff like that, but,
Mhm.
that's pretty much mainly what I'm doing, but right now I'm calling it regular carnivore, but without dairy,
Mhm.
and I enjoy that, but even though I'm calling it that, I'm still eating more beef than anything.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, I found for me lately, at least in the last 6 weeks or so, I've just not been really wanting bacon. I just been sticking to mostly beef and eggs, and sometimes like on Saturdays, I'll pick up a Costco chicken and eat that for lunch for a day or two, and
Boy,
then,
some people will chew you out over that, boy.
I don't care. It's Carnivore, you know?
You better not let nobody tell Dr. Chapin what you did.
Oh, um, and then, yeah, sometimes I'll have shrimp sometimes. I like to eat like shrimp with my steak sometimes on Friday nights or whatever. Like tonight I had eggs and shrimp for dinner, so,
No.
it all depends on the mood I'm in, I guess, but mostly beef and eggs is kind of what I've been sticking to. So,
When I get a wild hair, I mean, I'll want, like, some chicken wings, and I'll do
mhm,
chicken wings 'cause I just love those. I don't crave any of the other chicken, though, anymore, like chicken breast or I'll eat, like, chicken legs and stuff, but I don't go out of my way to go get them anymore, but, like, every now and then, I just wanna throw some chicken wings on the grill, or if we're out somewhere and, I'm like, "I just don't wanna go pay for a steak at a restaurant right now," I'll just
mhm,
get some wings, some hot wings or something.
yeah, and, I had a thought. Oh, yeah, something that's different about, that I've noticed since going carnivore and becoming fat adapt is, like, before I would when I would eat chicken, on a standard American diet, I would always go for the white meat, I always go for breast and wings, right? But now, like, I'm craving that leg, that the fat on that leg, that's like that
And
drumstick,
that
I'm like, "Ooh."
skin
Yeah, yep, mhm.
at the
It's kinda
barbecue
craving.
meetup that we're doing, I'm actually gonna cook some chicken at it too. I'm gonna cook brisket, I'm gonna cook pork butts, I'm gonna cook, leg quarters, which it has the leg and the thigh, which is both dark meat. So I'm gonna smoke leg quarters, and then I'm also gonna do for people that are okay with something that's a little processed, I'm gonna have, smoked sausage too.
Man, I wish I could go. It
I
sounds
know,
so
I'm
good.
telling you, buddy, you better get a pla look, hey, when I say it's gonna be good, that's a
Oh,
promise.
d wi with you, I know it's gonna be good. What are you talking about? One of these days, we're gonna have to get together and, you're gonna
Yeah,
have to cook
for
me some
sure.
barbecue, man, because, man,
It's gonna be fire.
oh, yeah, for sure. I wish I could go, and, like, we need to do some kind of something,
Yeah,
like
me and you will do some talks, and we'll figure something out.
yeah, for sure. We should do, like, a just a hangout thing, but, like, also a meet up with some people would be cool too,
Yeah,
uh
we could do something together, you know what I mean?
yep, yeah,
That'd be
exactly.
cool.
Mhm. Yeah, for sure. Most definitely. Caitlin. Caitlin's not feeling well tonight. She's pregnant and sick, so that's why she's not here. But she decided to throw that in there.
My wife hops in my chats and says different stuff sometimes.
Okay.
Carnivore Odyssey said worldwide meet and greet.
Yeah.
Dog meet and greet.
Yeah, that'd be kinda cool. Let's see. Interesting. This right here. 72-hour
Okay.
fasting for their journey came out with a fast with severe carb cravings. Weird. I wonder if it's because, like, your body was craving a quick energy source and you were just like, carbs, that could be it. That's my
Yeah,
guess.
because for so many years, that's what people did,
Mhm.
and but I will say this, I was in a situation it wasn't a fasting situation, but it was just a situation where, I was picking up some pizza for, some family members, and I was planning to cook a steak at their house. So I had a steak in a Ziploc bag that I was taking over there, and I had a big old thing of butter, real butter, and,
Mhm.
I had that pizza in the car, and dude, that pizza smelled up my whole car, and I was like, "Dude, I want some of that pizza now." And I was like smelling it, and so I took a big old hunk of that butter and I took a big old bite of it and just let it set in my mouth. And literally within like a minute, I didn't even care about having the pizza anymore. So
Yeah, and
sometimes it's just getting the right
yeah,
fuel source will
mhm.
take care of the problem.
Yeah, that's something that, a lot of people have talked about, like, if you have cravings, they'll just bite butter, and,
It
and
worked.
yeah. Yeah, it does. It does. It really does, and it's good too.
Oh,
What
yeah.
kind of so here's a question. I know butter is kind of a sticky subject, but what kind of butter do you normally eat?
If I can have my preference, then I think Kerrygold's the best that I've tried. I like Amish butter too. We've
Mhm.
got a place that's got Amish butter, but I don't like the way that it's cut in the roll or whatever. I feel like I don't cut it as good. That's the reason I like Kerrygold and stuff like that better. It's
Yeah.
easier to cut the what in the portions that I want or whatever. And
Mhm.
I just think it's got the best taste. But then I've also tried like the Aldi butter, which is kinda like Kerrygold, and I think it's pretty good. If I'm at, like, Walmart in our small town and they're out of Kerrygold or something, because they don't have a lot of options, then I'll get Land O'Lakes butter, but the cheap Walmart butter to me, I will eat it if that's what my wife gets, but I just don't think it tastes as good. I think
Yeah.
Kerrygold is king.
Yeah. Yeah. For the longest time, I was just doing, like, the Kirkland generic salted butter, um, ever since we started going to Costco, but lately I've been digging the grass-fed Kirkland butter. It's basically their version
It's
of Kerrygold.
basically Kerrygold, right?
Yeah, and it just has so much better flavor, like,
It
it's
does.
so much more rich,
Have you
and it's
tried
like
Kerrygold?
I have not, because it's
Don't,
just
because it'll cost
expensive,
you some
man.
money, buddy.
I
If you
might get some at Walmart because you don't have to buy it in bulk there, um, 'cause I might just get, like, a brick of it at, Walmart, but
Well, here's the thing, do you ever put yours on your food cold, like a hunk of butter, or do you just cook with the butter and, like, have melted butter on your food?
I cook my eggs in them in butter, and then I used to put butter on top of my steak, but I'm trying to reduce
Make little
calories
cuts.
and make the small cuts a little bit less fat, so I haven't been putting butter on top of my steak, but mostly just cooking with, eggs with it, and cooking tonight I cooked shrimp, but in butter and, salt and pepper, but,
That'd be a
um
fun video for you to do is, like, have, like, 3 different butters or something like the Walmart or whatever, the Kerrygold, and then, like, maybe a Costco one or whatever, and
Mhm.
just see
A
you
blind taste
react
test.
to trying the Kerrygold butter.
Like a blind taste test. Yeah, yeah, that's not a bad idea, actually.
Yep.
Um,
I
here's
expect it
another
in
one.
about tomorrow. No.
That's not on our video calendar.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Big Mike's Hoopty Barn. I'm new to
I like
carnivore.
that name.
Week 7, lost 18 pounds so far. Awesome, good job. I haven't lost much for the last 2 weeks, but I'm okay with it considering I'm eating a lot and hitting the weights. Okay, awesome. So good job. 18 pounds in 7 weeks. That's awesome. Well, actually, 5 weeks then, because you said you haven't lost much in the last 2 weeks. So that's awesome. Keep going. Keep going.
I think
Um,
everybody hits a point where their body, like, is, like, trying to figure things out, and you
mhm.
just gotta give it a little bit more time, and then your body will start releasing weight. It's not just a straight down thing
Yeah.
for
Mhm.
a lot of people. I mean,
Mhm.
there's gonna be times where you'll stall out for a little bit and you'll think it's a stall, but you just give it time and your body will release more weight. There's times I've got on the scale, which I don't recommend getting on the scale for me at least every day because if I do, like it plays mind games with me. But there's
Mhm.
times when I would get on the scale every day and like it wouldn't drop a pound for like a week, and then I'd wake up the next day and it'd be down 5 or 6 pounds. And I'm
Yep.
just like, dude, it's so
Yep.
weird, man.
Yep. I had the same thing going on. And for me, like I stalled for a solid month. Or so, and then I had to stop and like think like, what am I doing that's causing me to stall? Is it am I found myself eating too much cheese and putting cream in my coffee. I found myself drinking too much like sucralose or stevia and stuff, or like those like sparkling ice drinks or whatever it is with sweeteners. So and also I found myself not being as active. So that's one thing too, is you gotta when you're. I'm not saying this is why he's stalling out, but
Yeah.
what I'm saying is like this is deep into my journey, right? So like you gotta sometimes take a step back and make micro adjustments to things and figure out why you're stalling out, but also focus on how you're feeling, how you're close fitting, what are your measurements, what your energy levels, all that kind of stuff. What's your inflammation like? Don't focus on the scale so much. That's the overall thing I'm trying to get out of this. But
It'll take care of itself. The scale will
yep,
take care of itself if you
yep,
just
yep.
eat the meat.
Exactly. And there'll be times where you go a week without losing any weight, and then then the next day you wake up and you down 3 pounds, and
Yeah.
and you feel like you ate a lot of calories the day before. You're like you ate way too much, like you stuffed yourself, and it's like, oh, I woke up and I'm 5 pounds lighter. But what the heck, It
Yeah.
happens. It's just that's how carnivore is. I don't know. It's weird.
That's crazy.
Um, Here's a question from Carnivore 24. TMI warning, but so I know diarrhea happens at the beginning, but if you struggle with it randomly throughout the journey, I don't know what I have, and my tummy is upset tonight.
How much
Um,
butter they eat,
yeah,
like,
so
that can get you.
yeah, I I struggle with this too, even sometimes now. Sometimes I'll get random diarrhea, and usually it's because I've had too much fat. So maybe not put so much butter on your steak or eggs or whatever. Just yeah, how much fat are you eating? And now, of course, this is past your adjustment period. I'm assuming, if you're having this issue, because I know in the first like two first month, basically, you're going to be struggling. Your gut's going to be adjusting to your the different way of eating. So I would careful on the fat. I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on that, Kip?
That's exactly what I was saying was, like, my first thought was, like, butter and things like that, because like, we have this t a lot of us that, like, have these food addiction problems for years will, when we start carnivore, and I've been done this too, and being like, "I'm trying to make sure that I don't have cravings, so I'll just put tons and tons of butter on my steak, and I'm trying to constantly feel as full as possible, and to make sure that I don't have a slip up. And the
Mhm,
thing is, when you do that, sometimes you'll go way overboard with the butter and things like that.
mhm,
And I've ate meals that was just had tons of butter on it, and like 30 minutes later, I run to the toilet. And then there's also been times just where, like, because I'm not used to eating as much spicy food anymore. So if I put a
mhm,
little bit too much hot sauce or a little bit too much cayenne pepper on a brisket or something like that, and I have a little bit too much, it can mess with me just a little bit as well. But that's just because
mhm,
I'm used to eating so clean now that any
mhm.
little thing can throw things off a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, and especially if you're someone who eats the same like 2 or 3 meals all the time, and then you do something different,
Mhm.
that could like say you're used to eating just eggs and steak and eggs and beef, and then one day you're eating a ton of cheese and some bacon. That messed me up before. So I mean, it depends on different factors. But anyways, here is another one. You're not gaining weight with diet soda. Never said we were, but you will. It will stall you out, and also it makes. If I drink too much carbonation or diet soda, I get really bloated. The carbonation in my gut, and I just feel like full, and just my stomach just doesn't feel right. Um, and then yeah, so it will definitely it will cause you to stall for sure.
It
Um,
also causes some people, no, I'm not saying it causes everybody, but it causes a lot of people to crave other things.
mhm,
Like, whenever
yep,
you're having, like, sucralose, now somebody might have it, or aspartame or something, and it might not affect them at all. But then
mhm,
other people, when they have it, it makes them want donuts and all this other different stuff. So if you're that person, but I
yeah,
mean, if you do any amount of research for more than 5 minutes, you'll know that Diet Coke is not great for you. It's
yeah.
better for you than regular Coke, but it
Still
ain't
got
as good for you as no Coke.
still got chemicals and everything else in it, and colorings. And here's Caitlin just on that same subject. Yeah, depending on the diet study, it can trigger an insulin spike and then lead your body to start. Yeah. So insulin, the hormone insulin, when it increases in your blood and your body releases insulin, it, it causes you not to burn fat. Like people who have higher insulin levels have trouble losing weight and losing body fat. So yes, it will cause you to stall out because it is spiking your insulin, especially things like I know a lot of people with sucralose, it will spike insulin. Even though there's no calories in it or whatever, it can spike insulin. Aspartame can also do that too. So you gotta be careful. Stevia is probably one of the better ones, and I do drink like Element that has stevia in it, and Zevia. Sometimes if I really want a soda, I'll drink Zevia, but it's not like an everyday thing. But yeah, you gotta be careful with that because certain things will spike your insulin, and the whole idea of being carnivore is to be more insulin sensitive and not insulin resistant. So that's part of good metabolic health is being insulin sensitive. So
That's good.
let's
I think you got a
see.
super chat.
We did. Where'd it go? Oh, boom! Thanks for the super chat, Carnivore Odyssey. Carnivore is unlike any lifestyle you would do. It heals your body, and the side effect is the weight loss. Carnivore is boss level. Agreed, 100%.
I love it.
100%. Yep, yep. It definitely heals your body. And the side, yep. Um, we're living proof. You know what I mean? I've lost 120 pounds in a
Wow,
year. I've
it's crazy.
cured, all my inflammation's gone. I've stopped snoring. Don't have hardly any more gas or I used to have IBS. It's gone. I used to be pre-diabetic. It's the complete opposite now. It'll heal your depression, your anxiety, your mental issues. It heals everything.
Do you
Everything
have the
metabolically
same
and
do you have the same doctor that you had before?
yeah, I do. Um,
I
so
would love to be hear what your doctor had to say. I would love to know.
I so so did you see my first blood work video
I don't think
back
I
on
watched that
okay.
one.
So I haven't been to the before June, I haven't been to the doctor in 10, 12 years since I was like a teenager pretty much. Um, so this is the first because I was so overweight and obese and like just was miserable and addicted to sugar and I knew I didn't want to go and
You knew what they were gonna say.
yeah, I didn't want to hear what he had to say about my health because I knew it was terrible, right? Pretty much.
You're like,
So
"Nah, duh."
So I waited till I was 4 months carnivore, and at that point I had lost 50 pounds at that point in 4 months. Um, and I went in there, and it wasn't bad. But now at that point I was 251. When I went in last week for my blood work, the same doctor, I was 181 at that point, and he walked in. He's like, "Well, you've been busy." He's like the nurse when she looked at the scale, she brought up my record or whatever. She's like, "Did that scale say 181?" I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "You were 251 in June." She
Yeah.
she she thought she read the scale wrong, basically.
You tell her what you was doing, or you didn't say nothing?
I told them I was doing a high protein, low carb, extremely low carb diet, basically.
Man, once you already get all the, I get that in the beginning, but once you already get all them results, I'd be like, "Hey, I'm doing carnivore, dog."
Yeah, and at the end of the day, I think the next visit I will probably tell them the
Spill the
truth.
beans.
Spill the beans, But I mean, yeah, yeah. So, but yes,
I
thanks for the
definitely
super
get it
chat.
for people first starting or like the first 6 months or whatever, because a lot of doctors are be pushy and all this other stuff and try to convince you not to and stuff. But
Mhm,
like you're already at the point where like it regardless of what they think, you know how well you feel and you know how well you've done. So the proof is in
mhm.
the pudding. So
Yeah,
I mean, what can they say
yeah.
really?
I mean, you got a very valid point. But at the end of the day, like he basically told me like, don't change anything you're doing. You're doing amazing. You're doing phenomenal.
Yeah.
Were his exact words. And like we had got into like the whole cholesterol and blood work and like all these things and started talking about stuff. And it was a good overall appointment. And video will be coming out about my blood work
I know
soon.
I'm ready to watch that video, man.
Thanks for the super chat again, Carnivore Odyssey. We really appreciate
Yeah, thank
that.
you. Appreciate it.
And let's see. And let's see. Where do we live? Okay, here's a question. Let me see. Hold on. We missed one. Okay.
Carnivore Scott's in the house. He's coming to the barbecue meetup.
Nice. It's awesome. Yeah, back to the artificial sweetener thing. Caitlin had mentioned CGM, continuous glucose monitor, would tell how your body responds to specific artificial sweeteners. Now, Kip, were you pre-diabetic before you started?
No, I was full-fledged diabetic. I was type 2 diabetic.
Okay, and now you're not. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm nothing now.
Okay.
Like,
What was your A1C last time you checked it?
well, it was well, the last time I checked it, it was 5.4, I think. I think it was 5.4. So it was below pre-diabetic.
Yeah, it was
But
normal. Yeah.
yeah, it was 5.4. The time before that, 4 months before that was 6.6.
Oh, okay.
So it's
Interesting.
in the normal
Did
range.
you did you ever do CGMs or you just do like the finger prick thing?
Oh, well, they draw blood where I go. They draw
Well,
blood and
yeah.
do all kind of different blood work. I don't know what all everything that they do, but I know that they draw blood.
Okay. So I think so when you were managing your diabetes before carnivore, did you check your blood sugar often or no?
No, honestly, a lot of times I was just like stubborn and I didn't want to go to the doctor, and I would go every now and then and I would listen to their whole spiel, and I would
Mhm.
always feel like I've got to figure this out. I'm gonna do this on my own. I feel like part of me knew that I needed to do it on my own and find a way. I just didn't know what it was until I tried carnivore.
Gotcha.
I
So
kinda, because I got
mhm,
a taste of it whenever I did keto in the past. I got a taste of doing good, and
mhm.
then, but whenever I went with carnivore, I mean, it just opened my eyes up like, big time, and started getting, I mean, amazing results, so I just stuck with that, and then now I feel a lot better about going to see the doctor than I did then.
Okay. Good to know. But so yes, Caitlin was talking about that. Yeah, CGM, even if you're not diabetic, it's good. I'm thinking about getting one for like a month or 2 weeks or whatever, just to see what things do to my blood sugar. Because that'd be good information to have to see
That's the one
what's
that
your
you
blood
wear?
sugar. Yeah, you wear it all the time. And it connects to your phone and just it monitors your blood sugar all the time, and it'll tell you what eating this did to your blood sugar, what eating that did to your blood sugar. Lily Kane actually did a video where her and her husband or CGM for like a month or something. And then she talked about here's what I ate and here's what it did. When I ate this, here's what it did. It was actually pretty interesting.
I need to
Um,
watch that video because I think she
yeah,
does, like, a little bit of fruit and all that different stuff, and just to
yeah,
see what happened with her with that.
yeah. She does fruit and veggies sometimes, and her husband does like whole milk and protein powder and fruit, and it was really interesting. So, but anyways, the next one we had a good question here. Dime Dollar. So glad I caught you live. Well, thanks for watching. We appreciate it. Make sure you hit that like button. Question: did you do calorie deficit while doing carnivore? In the beginning, no, I definitely did not count calories. Now the thing is, when you're eating a ton of fat and protein, that's all you're eating, and you're doing zero carbs, you get full quicker and easier on less calories, and you feel satiated sooner than you did on carbs. And also, your body is utilizing that fat for energy, and and you're not really hungry anymore until your next meal. So if you are obese and morbidly obese and you're just eating till you're full, you'll be in a calorie deficit even though you're not counting, I promise. Unless you're like way overeating, but I don't think it's possible to really overeat fat and protein. um, I didn't count calories until the last like 2 months because now I'm getting leaner and leaner and trying to get to my goals. So now I am counting calories because I actually do have to make sure I'm still in a deficit, whether it's with activity or food. But generally speaking, you don't have to because usually you're good with eating just fat and protein. You're full and you're not really super hungry. The thing with carbs is like it gives you this dopamine hit and it makes you want more eating like you can eat a ton of carbs and overeat your calories and still want more. But if you're just eating fat and protein, you're good to go. Once you're full, like you're good to your next meal. That's why a lot of people after like a few weeks or a month will go to 2 meals a day. They just skip breakfast because they're not hungry anymore. Um, but what about you, Kip? Do you ever count your calories?
Yeah, I mean, when you're this size, you don't worry about counting calories. When I get down close to my goal weight, then, eh and honestly, if I get close to my goal weight and I'm still losing weight, even if it's at a slow pace, then I
Mhm.
might not even do it then, but if I get to a point where, like, those last 10, 15 pounds, they're not wanting to budge, then that would be, like, a next change that I would make to get that whole situation figured out, because, I mean, I know that I've heard that calories isn't the best metric to use and all that different stuff or whatever, but I mean,
Mhm.
it's one of the only ones that we got to go by, I guess. So, I mean, it is something that you can use to help you make sure you're just not doing just a little bit too much.
Yeah, calories still do matter, even though,
Mhm.
like, it's I know in the carnivore community, they say, "Oh, you don't have to count calories." In the beginning, n no, you really don't, especially if you're if you're 50, 100, 200 pounds overweight, you're not, like you don't have to count calories 'cause to keep you at that big, you're gonna have to be eating thousands of calories, right?
That's a lot
And
of steak.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, like, if you're just eating 2, 3 ribeyes a day and you're full, you'll be in a deficit, I promise. But,
Yeah.
the leaner you get, the more you have to pay attention to that stuff. And I think the next one related to that, 5'10", 300 pounds, how many calories does he need a day? Um, I wouldn't worry about counting calories. I would just stick to eating beef, butter, bacon, and eggs for now. And okay, you can have seafood. Just stick to carnivore. Pork, chicken's all good. Just stick to carnivore. Eat till you're full, and go from there. You can calculate what your basal metabolic rate is. Basically, what your if you literally sat in a chair all day and ate food, how many calories would you burn just sitting there existing? That would be your basic metabolic rate. Um, so you can calculate that. There's calculators online you can look at for that. But I would say in your situation, 300 pounds, 5'10", um, you have a lot of weight to lose, at least 100 pounds. I would say don't worry about counting calories. Just eat till you're full,
That's
and
what
you will.
Doctor Berry would say. He would say, "Eat
Mhm.
until you're,
Yep.
comfortably stuffed," or whatever, however he says it. "Eat till you're satiated, eat till you're comfortably stuffed, and just make
Yeah.
sure you're eating the right food."
Yep. Here's a quick, good question. Do you guys stick to basic meat and beef, or do you use other things like sausage, pepperoni, deli meats? Um, I, currently I stick to just basic meat and beef and eggs and stuff like that. But I know in the beginning when I was transitioning, I would eat pepperonis often and deli meats here and there. Um, but now I kind of got away from that. What about you?
I normally just eat, like, whole cuts of meat, steak, or sometimes hamburgers, eggs every now and then. But like today, actually, I had some sausage, and that's more processed or whatever. But I had a pack of sausage in the freezer, and I was getting hungry at lunchtime, and I was like, I could speed thaw that real quick because I didn't have anything. And I was like, I was thinking I was just going to do one meal today, but I was like, you know what? I got a pack of sausage in the freezer. I'm gonna speed thaw it, and I had that for lunch, and I don't think it's gonna affect me or anything, but I don't eat sausage, like, every day.
Yeah, I used to eat like it's clean sausage you can like breakfast sausage is clean sausage you can find. I used to eat that in the beginning for sure, but yeah, I mean, if you're having an occasional sausage and pepperoni and deli meats every once in a while, it's not that big of a deal. But I wouldn't make it a big part of of what you eat. I would try to stick to actual like non-processed foods, um, if you can. For the most part, snacking here and there on a couple of pepperoni slices or whatever. It's not that big of a deal. But
I could never get enough pepperoni slices, though, that's the problem with me. I used to eat
yeah,
a ton of that stuff, so it's better for me to
mhm,
stay away from it.
yeah, yeah, I hear you there.
Them thing's good.
Oh, let's see. I'm trying to get caught up here because we were way behind in comments. So I'm trying to scroll past and see what we can find. Um, let's see. Yeah, here's Big Man Alaska talking about getting off plan and how fast you can gain weight. Kip, you can attest to that there.
Oh, yeah,
Because
dude,
you
whenever
you said
you
you were off for 2 months and gained 61 pounds, is that right?
Yeah, 61 pounds. I was in shock. I was like, I knew I gained a bunch of weight, okay, but I didn't think I gained
Mhm,
that much. I thought I was like I told my wife, I was like, "I'm probably gonna step on this scale and I feel like I'm up about 35, maybe 40 pounds,
mhm.
maybe." 'Cause, I mean, I ain't gonna lie, when I went off the rails, buddy, I was like a drug head, like, I was
You were binging on everything pretty
Oh,
much,
yeah,
yeah.
I was going to town, and, whenever I stepped on the scale and I was, like, 61 pounds down, I was like, "Dude," I felt like an idiot because I over halfway I literally half of the results that I got in the year was ruined in 2
Mhm,
months,
mhm.
and
Yeah,
so, that's the reason that I don't want that mistake to happen again. It's definitely a
mhm.
learning experience.
Yeah, and, that's part of the journey sometimes. It's just like you learn a valuable lesson, and then you'll remember that,
Yeah,
as
I know
you
one thing, I don't wanna gain 61 pounds when the holidays get here this year.
yeah, and yeah, and there's ways that you can still have a carnivore Thanksgiving, carnivore Christmas, even if it's ketovore and that's your cheating, like eating a few veggies here and there. Do it. You know what I mean? You don't want to
Yeah,
go off
'cause
the rails too much.
cabbage and green beans and stuff's not gonna make you
Yeah,
gain 61 pounds.
exactly. Just yeah. All right. The carnivore. I like this comment regarding coffee. If it doesn't affect you, be okay with it. Enjoy it. Agreed. I do. Give it up when you're ready and not a moment before. If you have to be kind to yourself always. Yep, I agree with you there. Still drink coffee every day. um,
She's always
I,
sweet in the comment section. She always
yeah,
has something positive to say.
yeah, that's awesome. Let's see.
Nah, man, you gotta give up coffee tomorrow, man. No, I'm just playing.
Uh, Here's a good comment, Anthony Romano. I feel like as long as you come back to carnivore and contain relapses, all is well. In the long run, you can taper off of food addiction. Yeah, agreed. 100% agreed. Um, you always want to come back to carnivore or whatever way of eating you choose, whether it's ketovore, keto, whatever. Um, contain those relapses. Yep. Yep. And you just get better and better. And then, of course, the next carnivore stork, next comment kind of goes with this. The SPAS took 4 years in their journey, so be kind to yourself. Exactly.
That's
It's
what a subscriber was telling me, like, yesterday. They emailed me and they were telling me, because I was talking about how, like, I'd had an off-plan day versus last year having an off-plan week and an off-plan
Mhm,
month. Like, I
mhm,
had an off-plan day, and they were like, "Don't beat yourself up over that day, even if you have a day again so far from now in the future, because, like, it used to be a whole lot more than that." And they said Lars Spath and them, it took them, like, 4 to 6 years. I think they said maybe even 6 years that they've been on this journey, and it wasn't like they just lost all their weight in the first year and kept everything
mhm.
off it. They went from, like, keto to different things. I'm not sure of the whole plan that they had, but it took them a little while and making mistakes and everything. It didn't just happen overnight.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Like we said before, it's a marathon, not a race. Um, even if you
The
think
good
you're
thing for
invincible,
me and you is that we're both pretty young. Like, how old are you? I'm 30.
I'm 32.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so you're 30 or 32?
32. I'm
Okay, so
32
you're
years old. There you go.
okay. I was like, "Are you 32 or not?" But anyway, I mean, it's just one thing that I feel very blessed and very fortunate is that we
Mhm.
found this at such a young age where
Yeah.
a lot of my viewers, they'll say, "Man, I'm 60 or 70 years
Mhm.
old, and I wish I knew about this sooner." Like, and it makes me realize just how blessed I am to have found this now. So I have so much time to work out the kinks and not beat myself up if it doesn't happen just overnight. Because I know without a shadow of a doubt that I'm not quitting and I'm not giving up because like
Right.
the results are too good. I feel too much better. There's no way that I'm giving this up.
Yep. Yep, exactly. And I agree with you there. I'm blessed to have found this way of eating at a young age too, because You know, I I got to the point where I was just so miserable and so like looking for an answer to change my health, and like I'm just so thankful that I found this, and I was able to be so successful with it, and conquer so many issues and health issues and mental issues, and it's been a amazing journey, even though I haven't gone off the rails in it or anything. And it's been a blessing for sure. And even if I did ever go off the rails and gain weight, at least I always know I can come back to it, and I know I can be successful. So
B1 Ritter said 32 or 32.
oh, let's see. Oh man. Okay, here's a question from ewill5265. I got my blood test results back and cholesterol was slightly high. I think I've heard of others with the same thing. Thoughts? You want to talk about this first, Kip, or no?
For me, I'm a simple guy. Okay, look, if Dr. Barry's not worried about my cholesterol, then I'm not too worried about it right now. Like he does so much research that
Yeah.
like yeah, like I mean, and I've been watching him for so long, and I know that he actually gets in the literature and does all kind of different stuff. Sometimes he'll try to prove himself wrong, and
Hmm.
he has an open mind, and
Hmm.
so he does so much research, and like if he's not after all the debates he's had and after all this time, if he's not super worried about cholesterol, I don't think that I need to be as concerned about. If everything else is great and
Hmm.
those numbers aren't perfect, then I'm gonna just ride with that. I don't know about you.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's a lot of research coming out. Actually, the preliminary study came out in January about lean mass hyperresponders, and what that is basically is so if you're on a keto or low carb diet in a keto spectrum, where it's carnivore, keto, or even low carb, and the leaner you get, actually the higher cholesterol will go up. The key here is there's a couple things to remember. How is your overall metabolic health, not just your cholesterol? So what is your A1C? What's your average glucose for the last 3 months? What is your fasting insulin? What is your homocysteine levels? What is your everything look like? Are you insulin sensitive or insulin resistant? What is your waist measurements? What is your blood pressure? All those things, you have to look at the whole picture, not just one thing. And if everything else is great, but you have elevated cholesterol, I wouldn't worry too much about it. The biggest thing is if your triglycerides are low within or normal range, and your HDL is high, and you have high LDL, significantly high LDL, and everything else looks good in the insulin department and sugar department, you're probably a lean mass hyperresponder. So the research is coming out about that, and there's more information about that. Check out Dave Feldman and Nick Norowitz. Those are two channels that they were directly involved with the study. Um, Basically, the study, so they took a group. I have the information here on my phone, so I can kind of give you a little bit of information about it. But they took, where's it at? It was Dr. Matt Budoff and Professor Dave Feldman, who Dave Feldman actually created a lipid energy model. It took 100 people. The average age was 55, and they were male. They were on a low carb, high fat diet for at least 5 years. Their average LDL cholesterol was 200 to 500, just LDL alone. And they did coronary CT angiography, which is very detailed scan of the heart and the arteries. And it's how you test your cardiovascular disease, if any plaque or if there's any restrictions in your heart or your arteries. And they found that these people with extremely high LDL, high HDL, but low triglycerides, and everything else was fine, and they were also lean, no, like low body fat. They found that these people had a better they had a CAC score of 0 and very low risk of cardiovascular disease. In fact, they were compared to another healthy group with low cholesterol, with little to, and they were actually doing better than the people with lower cholesterol. So there's LD. I wouldn't get too worried about LDL. That's what I'm trying to say, because there's 70% of the heart attacks that happen in the U.S. have low to normal LDL level cholesterol levels. If you look at like Dr. Philip Afadia, he talks about, he's a heart surgeon. He's been operating on hearts for 20 years, and he's also part of the carnivore community. He's pro carnivore, and he talks about the number one risk factor in his clinical observation is insulin resistance and blood pressure, basically metabolic syndrome, insulin resistance, blood pressure, your waist, your waist circumference. Those things are all play into it, but I would just not worry about it. If you're not eating if you're on a carnivore diet or a low carb diet and you have high cholesterol, I wouldn't worry too much about it. But I'm not a doctor. Do your research. Talk to your doctor.
Throw that in there.
Yeah, and that's all I'm saying. But because I have the same issue, everything is perfect. I have high cholesterol, but I'm healthier than I've ever been in my life. So I don't know. It's just, I'm not too worried about it. That's me. So okay.
That was great, man. I can tell you've been doing your homework.
Yeah, I felt like I was blabbering there for a while.
No, I mean, like you need to get. Or I don't know if you studied medical stuff at all, but if not, you need to change careers and go be a doctor, because you've learned a lot.
I've done a lot of research because of this issue. Is such a hot issue in the community and with this way of eating. I can't tell you how many comments that I get, and you probably get too, about what's your cholesterol, is your cholesterol, blah blah blah. It's all they care about. It's like, you need to stop putting so much emphasis on cholesterol. Like, it doesn't matter. What is the quality of your cholesterol? What is your CAC score? What is there any plaque buildup in your heart? Like, if you're really worried about it, what's your insulin levels? Is your blood sugar? What's your A1C? Like, what's your waist circumference? There's so many things that play into your overall health, not just your cholesterol. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you can't get too wrapped up in that. And also, as you're losing weight, you'll have high LDL anyways, because you're transporting your cholesterol to your liver and your kidneys and flushing everything out too. So it acts like a transportation truck, basically, your LDL. So also, cholesterol is important for your hormonal function. It's part of your cells. Every cell in your body's membranes is made up of cholesterol. Cholesterol is an important part of your health and the way your body functions. So
yes, I think it's just been demonized for a long time, but I don't think it's an issue. As long as, like you said, all your other markers are good, I don't think it's an issue.
Exactly. Now, if you have insulin resistance and you have a high waist circumference and you have high blood pressure and high cholesterol and high triglycerides, which is the key, then I would probably change some things in your metabolic health. Okay.
I still have a big waist circumference. I still got a ways to go. I'm working on that one.
It's a journey. It takes time.
Yeah.
It took years to get a big waist circumference. It's going to take a while to get into a small waist circumference.
Yep.
Here's a question. Pat, I'm around your weight now. When you were 192, and what did you do to retain your second wind? What are they talking about? You know what I mean? Retain my second wind? I don't know what they're talking about, honestly. Do you know what they're talking about?
Let's see here. Retain your second wind. You know what I mean? I don't know. I wonder if they're. I wonder if they're referring to back whenever you were talking about a second wind is like whenever you were talking about working out or whatever, and working out fasted or something. I don't know. I don't know what they're referring to.
I don't know. You clarify in the chat. I have no idea what you're talking. Yeah, someone. Yeah, even Carnivore, he's like, second wind. Yeah. Okay. Question for the first time in my time of dieting, I'm giving myself more time to lose weight, heal, and get my goal of 80 pounds to lose. Have either of you felt like with this, it's allowed to give yourself more time to accomplish your goal and heal? It's a first fire, usually rushing to lose weight. Okay.
Need to give more time to culture and heal it. I'm not sure exactly the way that they wrote it, but I know me, I'm allowing myself some grace to
Yeah,
get there over time. Like,
yeah,
because some people get there quick, some people get there, it takes them a little bit longer. Just we're all in this together.
yep. You don't. You got to think of like this. If you said you have 80 pounds to lose, how long did it take you to gain that 80 pounds? Years, probably, right?
Mhm.
So it might take you years to lose it. However, carnivore can be a great way to lose it quickly. I just wouldn't worry about trying to get the weight off. I would try to worry about focusing on healing your body, healing your metabolic health, healing your all your physical problems, things like that, and just give it time. It takes time to get healthy and lose weight. I wouldn't get so wrapped up in how long it takes. It's a marathon. So okay,
I like one thing that which I don't really watch him hardly anymore, but I used to watch back when I did keto a lot. I used to watch Dr. Berg, and
yeah, yeah,
he used to say, "You don't, um, lose the weight to get healthy, you get healthy to lose the weight," or he would say it something like that, you get healthy, and then, like, you think healthy and you make healthy choices, then the weight loss will come from that. You don't
hmm
just I'm focused on the scale and trying to lose all
hmm
this weight, and then magically you're gonna get healthy. If you just focus on eating the right things and moving your body if you're able to, and,
hmm
just getting plenty of rest at night, staying hydrated, and if you need electrolytes, taking those. If you're doing all those things, you're gonna get healthier and healthier, and the weight will take care of itself.
Yep, agreed 100%. It's not about losing weight, it's about changing your life, changing your
Yep.
health. So it's about changing the way you eat in general. We're not saying you have to be like carnivore either. There's a spectrum. You can be keto, you can ketovore. Just eat whole foods. You'll be better off than most people in the U.S. because everybody's eating junk. They're eating processed crap and
Yeah.
chemicals and just eat clean. That's all we're saying.
My
And
only caveat to people that do keto is I tell them, I'll be like, "Look, if you're gonna do keto is perfectly fine, but please
Mhm.
stay out of the keto aisle."
Yes.
Like
Mhm.
don't be tricked by all the keto treats and snacks and goodies and the keto cakes and keto ice cream and all that stuff. If you're gonna do keto, keto's fine, but, like, eat whole foods and eat, like, some avocados and eat some green beans and some cabbage and things like that, some different stuff like that. Eat those things with your meat if that's what you want to do, but don't say I'm eating pepperonis and eating uh just pepperonis and keto cookies all day long and then expect to have amazing results. I mean, those keto cookies and stuff, that's not good for you. I don't
The
think.
key I think the key is whether you're keto or carnivore or whatever, just stick to whole foods. That's the key. Anything processed, it probably isn't good for you,
Yep.
whether it's keto or not. I would just stick to whole foods, period. So, um,
What your body was designed to eat was real food.
exactly. We weren't designed to eat all that junk. Um, I can afford ground beef, so what's your favorite way to eat that? I'm a simple person. When I do ground beef, I just make patties, throw them in the air fryer, and that's it. I mean, you can do a lot with that. You can make burgers, you can grill them, you can pan fry them, you can. I mean, I just keep it simple, stupid for me. What about you?
Well, I like to meal prep them, so I'll make a bunch of half-pound patties or sometimes only quarter pound patties, but normally it's 8-ounce patties or not even
Mhm,
measured, but a lot of times it's just a big handful, and I know it's gonna be about 8 ounces for me, and so I'll make a bunch of those, and I season them up a little bit, and I toss them on the smoker because when you
mhm,
smoke a burger, it's easier to not overcook it because it's cooking slower, and so I'll put a thermometer in it because I like to take mine to like 130. I don't like to go like well done on my burgers. And so I'll
mhm,
take them to like 130. And then when you or sometimes 140, but when you go into them with your fork or whatever, it's just like super moist. And
mhm.
I just think there's excellent that way. And plus you get that added smoke flavor. And it's not hard to do it. People think it's rocket science. You're just firing up your smoker and setting them on
What
there once you get your
what
patties.
What temperature do you cook your burgers at?
And well, it depends on what size smoker you got. If you got a smaller smoker, then you wanna run lower temps because if your meat's really close to the unit or the smoker itself, it'll pick up a lot of that radiant heat. So,
Mhm,
like, on a small pit that a lot of people have, 225, 250 max. On a huge pit like my Shirley, you can go 275, 300 even, and still get perfect smoked burgers. But on a like most people's little backyard pellet grill or something, set it at like 250 or
okay,
225 and just let them go. And then they're not going to take long. They don't. I
mhm,
mean, they might take 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and you got a bunch of smoked burgers, and they're awesome.
okay. I need to do that because
Oh
I've
man,
never thought
once
about
you do
smoking
it, man, once you do it, you're gonna be like, I should have done this a long time ago.
Alright, I'll have to try because I've never smoked patties before, so
Oh man, just hand form your patties,
yeah,
or whatever,
mhm,
and if you like them big, go with big because when you smoke them, the bigger they are, I think the better they are. So I go with like half-ounce patties most of the time. Just put them in that smoker and just let them ride. It might take 30 minutes, and I'm telling you, they're gonna be good.
okay, okay. I'll have to try that soon. Alright. We I'm trying to get because like, we've been here an hour and a half, I'm trying to get down to close to the bottom.
Yeah, you
Uh,
try to get most of them.
yeah, trying to get caught up here and trying to see if we missed any questions. Let's see. Okay. Wow, we are just, like, taking too much time on these questions that were, like, way back. Let's see.
And I appreciate everybody
Yeah,
joining us tonight for sure. I
yeah,
definitely
for sure.
appreciate y'all
This has
hanging out
been
with
a
us all.
yeah, it's been fun. It's been a good chat for sure.
And we're gonna start doing this.
Once a month. Yep,
Yeah, we're gonna
that's
start trying
the
to
thing.
do this once a month.
Let's see.
I don't have a lot of questions right here at the
Here's
bottom.
a here's a Pat's gonna be super busy. Yeah. Yeah, we are.
Woo!
Uh-huh.
That's crazy, man.
Yep.
You see what
Yep.
Carnivore done? No.
Yeah, it happens.
Yep.
Oh man, let's see. This is a good point to bring up here. Carnivore Odyssey. I just figured this out. Someone commented on one of my recent videos, but Element has maltodextrin in it, which is I didn't know that until someone commented that, and I researched it, and it's true. So watch that stuff. So I still drink Element, but I'm trying to research into more even cleaner
Yeah.
electrolytes. So just gotta be careful with that type of stuff. So
Yeah, I've heard mixed things on that. I've heard people get really, really mad about it, and then I've heard other people say that they use such a small amount that it's like I'm like, why they even put that in there if it's that small of an
mhm,
amount? Like, so I mean, I don't know. I don't know how much it is or whatever. But me, whenever I was taking Element, I was just using just a regular raw unflavored. But honestly, I think I've found that for me, I salt my meat enough that I don't really know if I need a lot of extra electrolytes.
yeah, yeah, and I usually will do electrolytes in the summertime when I'm sweating a lot. That's about it. But
Yeah.
and I do it sometimes now if I know I'm gonna go if I'm gonna lift weights that day. Sometimes I'll do that. But Carnivore Scott, what's up? We live in Nebraska too. I mean, so we live near Lincoln. I'm not gonna say exactly where, but near Lincoln. So go Big Red. Let's see. Trying to see here. Trying to get caught up here. Let's see. This is an interesting question. Can I eat butter with a fatty liver? Oh, that's a doctor question. I don't know about that one.
Yeah, where's Doctor Chafee or
Yeah,
somebody when you need him?
yeah, yeah. Do you have non-alcoholic fatty liver disease? I'm pretty sure you'll be fine eating butter. Um, but that's a question for a doctor. I'm not a doctor, and I don't. Do you have an answer to that question, Kip?
Yeah, I don't know the exact answer to that question,
Okay.
but, um, I mean, so yeah, I don't know.
Oh, okay. Dylan Snyder. What? Okay. Okay. That's amazing. Yeah, so interesting story. MOPS is it's a mom and preschooler thing. Um it's like every Thursday or something, every other Thursday, like stay home moms take their kids and they go and they do like a Bible study type of thing. They have childcares. It's actually just a community of stay home moms. But that's awesome, Dylan. That I don't know who your wife is, but I'm sure my wife does. Knows your wife. But another friend of ours, I also convinced him to start changing his health, and he's doing well too. He's another MOPS friend, but yeah, he started about a month ago or so. I need to get an update on him on how he's doing. But yeah, that's awesome. Um, Let's see. We're talking about cholesterol, and then yeah, okay, yep, okay. Getting caught up, getting caught up. Um, Man, there's just so many comments.
Yeah, you can never get all the
Yeah,
comments.
that's crazy.
You get what you can, but you can never get all of them.
Yeah, yeah. I'm almost there. Just trying to see if we miss any questions. Here's a question for Kip. There you go.
I think I might have already answered that question in the
Oh,
comments, but
okay.
let's see. Kip, I'm
Okay.
new to your channel. Yeah, if you want to see a smoking meat video, you can go to my channel and then go to my playlist. I think you can go to my playlist and then just in there, one of my playlists will say like um, barbecue, or it may say, I can't remember if it's barbecue or barbecue and cast iron or something like that, but it'll have all of my smoking meat videos in that playlist. Because
And
anytime I have one of those videos, I link it to that playlist.
if you haven't if you don't know, Kip is the carnivore barbecue master. Okay. I learned a lot of things from watching his videos. His video taught me how to make jerky on my smoker, and I've learned how to do a good pork butt from Kip, and
Now you're gonna learn how to make smoked burgers.
yeah, there you go. Yep. Yep. I'm gonna have to try that. And
You're gonna love it.
eventually I want to do a brisket. We'll have to talk some other time about that, but
Yeah, you
I'm
can
gonna
do
have to
it.
do one sooner or later. But I've caught up on the comments, so we're gonna be logging off soon here, y'all. So if you have any last minute questions, get them in. But here's a question here at the end. I think I need to get some electrolytes because I've been having cramps in my hands and feet. Any suggestions? Element, yeah, it has maltodextrin, but it's better than some other ones out there. Element's good. Redmond's Relight is also another good option. They make Redmond's Real Salt, same company. There's Redmond's Real Salt as their sodium, and Redmond's Relight, and also Keto Chow Salt.
Yep.
Those are three good options for you: Element, Redmond's Relight, and Keto Chow
Have you
Salt.
heard of the new one called Salt, like with two T's or
Yeah,
something? Isn't that
Keto
a new
Chow
one?
Salt. Yep, that's what that is. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Keto Chow makes it. It's a SALTT. Yep.
Yeah.
I need to get some of that because like it seems to be a little bit better than Element. We'll see. But
I wanna try at some point because my problem with the element for me is like having it being too strong and having to put it in a huge water jug and stuff.
mhm.
Especially since I do just the unflavored one. And
Yeah, it's
so
salty.
with that, you can kind of control, I think you can control the amounts that you're putting in your water bottle or whatever with the
Well,
with the
you can get like Redmond's Relight. You can either get the packets or you can get like a tub of the stuff powder stuff, and you can measure how much you put in. Um, so I know for me when I first started doing Element a year ago, it was way too salty, and I had to get like a 42-ounce bottle, with water and drink that throughout the day. But now I just do like 30 ounces, and I got used to it. But I know that I think salt with two T's still has the same amount of sodium in it. I think it's 1,000 milligrams too, so it's still going to be strong. So I guess it's just something that for me, I had to get used to it over
Yeah.
time.
I just
So
don't like feeling like I'm swimming in the ocean drinking the water.
oh. And then yeah, it does not have maltodextrin. Yeah, and that's what I figured. Because they just came out, and I think they're going to be probably Element's biggest competitor.
They
For the
don't
food.
have they don't do the flavored kinds either, do they?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do.
Well, then they gotta have something in them because there's no
Yeah,
way you get flavor
well, there's
without
stevia.
having no kind of chemical.
Well, the natural flavoring and stevia is what they're going to be using.
Yeah.
I think they're trying to get not using maltodextrin at all, because maltodextrin, it definitely spikes your blood sugar, so you got to be careful with that.
Yeah, but what I'm saying though is like even to say natural flavors, there's a whole
It can
big
be,
debate on that too. There's a
yeah, I know,
whole you can go down a wormhole on natural flavors.
I know, and it seems like salt is the cleaner version of Element, from what I understand. So we'll see what happens with that, but
Or if Element as much money as the Element's got, if they don't make changes because they're worried about the competition,
yeah, for
they
sure,
might make some changes.
yeah, most definitely, and that's something that I want to try salt for sure. That's because I've tried. I have a ton of Element, but it's just now that I bought like a box of them, like the big box of them, and then I later learned that they have maltodextrin. I'm like, great, I have to drink it now. It's like I'm not going to waste money. They're not cheap. So here is a good question. I'm Empress Resting Beach Face. Because I have a lot of fat to lose, I'm leery of eating extra fat. Anyone have thoughts or experience on this? Eating fat in your diet does not make you fat. What so eating a high fat diet does not make you fatter or gain weight or retain weight. What makes you gain weight is being in a calorie surplus, but also it's the type of calories you're eating. So if you're eating a ton of carbs and sugar and empty calories and chemicals and everything else, that's what causes you to gain weight and retain water and all this stuff. So if you're eating just fat and protein, you'll lose weight. I've been eating nothing but fat and protein for a year and lost over 120 pounds. And Kip's you lost over 100 pounds as well. You gained some
Mhm.
back, but you did lose quite a bit there.
Yeah, I was down like 100 and well, I was down 104 pounds, but total I was down like 100 and maybe 12, 115 pounds. But a couple pounds I lost before I started carnivore. And so on carnivore, I was down 104 pounds, but I gained 61 pounds when I went off plan. And now that I'm back on plan, I think I've lost like 37 pounds this year.
Okay. So you lost 37 pounds in what, 2.5 months?
Yeah, of the 61 pounds that I had put back on.
Right. Awesome.
So
So
I'm
I
headed
don't
in
know.
the right direction again.
Yeah. Yeah. Gotcha. Okay. So
I had to do
here's the
the
question
math.
then. Here's the question. Yeah. So your starting weight was like what? Almost 500 pounds, 486. Is that right?
Well, yeah, when I started carnivore, it was 486, but a little bit before that, it was 498. My highest weight ever was 498.
And what's your weight? What's your current weight? Last time you
Right
checked.
now, 407. So
Okay.
hold on, let's see here.
All right. So you're about 100 pounds.
Not right now, I'm down 91 pounds from
Okay.
my highest weight. But
Gotcha.
I was down more than that, but I haven't lost all that I had gained for those 2 months that I was way off plan.
Uh-huh. And the same person here said they lost 130 pounds on low carb keto, but regained 40 now trying to start over. And the same person who asked the fat question. So back in the day, they used to think that fat made you fat, but people would eat a low fat diet, but then end up being metabolically unhealthy. They would gain weight, retain water, and have terrible cardiovascular health. So, fat doesn't make you fat. Fat is important to your hormones. It helps thyroid function. It helps a lot of things. So fat is not bad, but
Yeah, I
um,
mean, if fat was a problem, everybody that was eating carnivore would be gaining tons of weight.
mhm.
I mean, like, because there's tons of people that eat this way and eat keto, and they all talk about eating fat, eating fat, eating fat. And I mean, think about it. Like, you would have gained a ton of weight last year if that was a
Yep.
problem.
Yep. All right. This is going to be the last question for the night because it's getting late and I'm tired. I'm sure you are too. Here is B1 Riddler. Off-plan weight gain. Yeah, off-plan weight gained. Would that be a rebound effect getting off diet? I mean, if you ever quit carnivore, will all the weight come back, or do you have to be on a carnivore for the rest of your life? Um, you want to answer this one first, then I'll follow.
Well, I'm not saying that everybody has to be on carnivore for the rest of their life, because there's some people that switch from carnivore, like, their end goals to find somewhere around keto or ketovore at some point once they hit their goals. There are people that do fine with ketovore, or there are people that do fine with keto. But when people say a rebounding effect, I mean, it's like anything to me. Like, let's say that I was somebody that was an alcoholic. If I was an alcoholic and I quit drinking and I started getting amazing benefits and I started doing good and saving money and feeling better and not having problems and getting along with my family better, and then I start drinking again. If I decided to start drinking again, guess what is going to happen? I'm going to have the same old problems that I used to have.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, and it's the same way with smoking cigarettes. And it's like with poor diet. Like, if you start having a great diet or a great diet plan that you're on, and you're doing amazing and having great benefits, if you remove that plan and you go back to the standard American diet, then yeah, you're gonna have the same problems you had before. I mean, problems are gonna start coming back because you're getting back into your old ways. I mean, I was eating tons of donuts and I was eating cake and I was eating ice cream and I was eating Popeye's chicken and all this other stuff. So, I mean, yeah, what do you expect is going to happen? I mean,
Yeah.
I knew what was happening as it was happening, but I was so into that moment and was just like wild out there that I was doing it anyway.
Mhm.
So, I mean, it happens whenever you go back to now. If I would have switched from carnivore to doing like ketovore or something, I don't think I would have gained 61 pounds.
Yeah.
I don't think I would have had that problem.
100% agreed. Um, One of the great things about carnivore is that because it's so restrictive and and you're eating nothing but whole bioavailable nutrient dense food, that you're not only you're healing your body, like you're healing everything, your physical health, your metabolic health, your mental health, you're reducing inflammation, you're just healing so many things in your body. It's getting back to your body's getting the proper nutrients it really needs, but also because it's restrictive, um, you're you're solving your food addiction issues. Most probably 95% of people are sugar and carb addicts. We're sugar fiends. We love our carbs and sugar, and that's a problem, especially for using food as your coping mechanism, or you're using it to handle your emotions, or your world revolves around food. So that's why carnivore is so successful for a lot of people, because it helps you get over those food addiction issues, but also at the same time healing your body, shedding those extra pounds, and just healing your overall health in general. But also, like, um for me, I know once I hit my goals and I'm in maintenance mode, I might be a little bit more lenient. I might have, say it's a special occasion, and I feel like having a piece of fruit. I'm gonna eat that
People's gonna
fruit.
tell you to change your channel name, bro. That's what they'll
Exactly.
do.
Yeah,
They'll
I
say, "You
know,
need
I
to
know. The
change it
carnivore
to
Nazis
a
will come out.
vegan channel."
You know, but if I want, like, a serving of blueberries or a serving of strawberries, low glycemic index fruit, I don't see a problem with that. If it's 4th of July or something and I wanted a piece of watermelon, it's not gonna kill me. You know what I mean? The thing is like is fixing your mindset around food is the most important part about this journey, and especially for a food addict. Because if you fix your mindset around food and your addictions, when you're maintaining and you're in that healthy space and you're at healthy weight and you're healthy, you can try to moderate and see how it goes. If you find yourself going off the rails and gaining weight and getting into your back into your old ways of eating, then you need to stop, know how to stop, go back, reset everything, go back into carnivore. It's a great reset tool, but also it's a great way to um, eat long term, and it's a great way to change your overall way of eating and lifestyle. And for me, I know I'm probably going to always be mostly carnivore. And like I said, maybe I'll have some green beans here and there. Maybe I'll have um, non some veggies that aren't super high in oxalates every once in a while, or maybe a piece of fruit here and there. Maybe have a little bit more cheese here and there. But at that point, I'm just maintaining. And if I'll add a few things back in here and there, see how it makes me feel. If I have negative side effect from it, I probably won't eat it anymore. It's just all about figuring it out once you've hit your goals. Um, so that's kind of my take on it, how I'm going to be moving forward once I hit my goals, because I'm getting close to it. But that's just me. But great question. Great last question for this live. Um,
This was
and
fun, brother.
yeah, definitely. It was a lot of fun. And we'll be doing this once a month. And hopefully Caitlin will be on here, and maybe we'll see about doing maybe one day we'll convince Mackenzie to come on here. We'll see. And do like
Yeah,
a
I'll have
carnivore
to I have to put the
chat.
pressure on her.
Yeah. We'll see. But yeah, this is a lot of fun. And if for people who don't know who Carnivore Kipp is, which I don't know how you know who we are, but not Kip, but go check him out. If you want to learn how to cook really good food, really good barbecue, and he's got the information. He's a barbecue master. Okay,
I
so
appreciate it, brother. And
but
hey,
yeah, go
and
over
anybody watching my channel, y'all do the same thing for him, and y'all go subscribe to his channel and tell him Kip sent you.
there. All right, y'all. We appreciate everyone with the questions and chatting, and thanks for the super chats and everything like that. We had a lot of fun. We'll see y'all next time. Y'all have a good night.
Take care, y'all.